There's a version of you that existed before your ex, and a version of you that walked away from them. But the space in between, the part you don't talk about, is where you picked up habits, fears, and reflexes that didn't start with you, yet still steer you. Not because you're holding on, not because you're secretly hoping they'll come back, but because some relationships don't end when they end, they echo. This episode uncovers the quiet, almost invisible ways your ex still shapes your choices, the patterns you only notice when you finally stop and ask yourself, why does this still feel like them? Part 1. The Echo of Old Expectations. Here's the thing. When you've been with someone long enough, their preferences, reactions, and expectations don't just disappear. They become echoes. Maybe your ex hated when you wore something bold. Maybe they rolled their eyes when you talked about your dreams. Maybe they made you feel too much, too emotional, or too ambitious. And now, without realizing it, you shrink a little. You soften your voice. You choose the safer option. Not because you want to, but because your nervous system remembers the cost of being yourself. This is the first hidden influence. You start making choices based on who you had to be for them, not who you actually are. Part 2. The Fear of Repeating the Past. Let's talk about the second influence, overcorrecting. If your ex was emotionally unavailable, you might now avoid anyone who takes more than 10 minutes to text back. If your ex was clingy, you might now run from anyone who shows genuine interest. Your brain goes, never again, and suddenly every new person is being compared to a relationship you're no longer in. This isn't healing, it's hypervigilance dressed as self-protection. And it influences everything, who you date, who you avoid, what you tolerate, what you run from. You're not choosing from clarity, you're choosing from fear. Part 3. The identity you built around them. Here's a sneaky one. You built an identity inside that relationship. Maybe you were the caretaker. Maybe you were the fixer. Maybe you were the one who always apologized first. And even after they're gone, you keep playing the same role, with friends, with new partners, even with yourself. Because it's familiar, because it feels like you. But it's not you. It's the version of you that the relationship required. This is the third hidden influence. You keep living out an old identity that no longer fits. Part 4. The Emotional Muscle Memory. Your body remembers things your mind tries to forget. The way you flinched before bringing up a concern. The way you braced for disappointment. The way you tiptoed around their moods. Now, even in safe situations, your body reacts as if you're still in that old dynamic. You hesitate before expressing a need. You downplay your feelings. You assume you're too much. This is emotional muscle memory, and it influences your choices long after the relationship ends. Part 5. The Standards You Lowered. Let's be honest. Some of us lowered our standards so slowly we didn't even notice. We accepted breadcrumbs. We tolerated inconsistency. We normalized emotional confusion. And now, when someone treats you well, it feels suspicious. When someone is consistent, you wait for the catch. When someone respects your boundaries, you don't know what to do with yourself. This is the fifth hidden influence. Your baseline for what's normal got distorted. Part 6. The Unfinished Conversations. Sometimes the influence isn't emotional, it's cognitive. You replay arguments. You rehearse what you should have said. You imagine how things could have gone differently. These unfinished conversations keep you tethered, not because you want them back, but because your brain hates loose ends. This is the sixth hidden influence. Your mind is still trying to resolve a story that already ended. Part 7. The version of love you learned. Every relationship teaches you something about love, even the wrong things. Maybe you learned that love is earned. Maybe you learned that love is unpredictable. Maybe you learned that love is painful, inconsistent, or conditional. And now, without realizing it, you make choices that match the version of love you were taught. This is the seventh hidden influence. You recreate what feels familiar, not what feels healthy. Part 8. The subtle ways you still seek their approval. This one is uncomfortable. Even after a breakup, you might still be trying to win in ways they'll never see. You want to be more successful, more attractive, more healed, more look what you lost. It's not about them anymore. It's about the part of you that still wants validation. This is the eighth hidden influence. You're still performing for an audience that isn't watching. Part 9. The habits you built to survive. Let's talk about survival mode. If your relationship required you to be hyper-independent, you might now struggle to let anyone help you. If your relationship required you to be emotionally numb, you might now struggle to feel anything deeply. If your relationship required you to be the peacekeeper, you might now avoid conflict at all costs. These habits were once protection. Now they're limitations. Part 10. So, how do you take your power back? Awareness is the first step, but let's talk about what comes next. 1. Notice the pattern without judging it. You're not weak, you're conditioned. 2. Ask, is this choice mine or a leftover? This question alone rewires everything. 3. Rebuild your identity outside of who you were with them. Try things they didn't like. Wear things they discouraged. Say things you used to swallow. 4. Update your definition of love. Healthy love feels steady, not dramatic. 5. Give yourself the closure you wanted from them. You don't need their words to end the story. 6. Practice micro moments of self-trust. Small promises, small follow-throughs, small wins. Confidence grows from evidence. Self-trust grows from consistency. The topic takeaway. Your ex may have shaped parts of you, but they don't get to define your future. You're allowed to rewrite your patterns. You're allowed to choose differently. You're allowed to become someone your past relationships never got to meet. And that version of you isn't influenced by anyone but you.